A very pleasant good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Airborne Speedway in Plattsburgh for another episode of Motorsports Magazine. I'm Rick Knowles, joined on the broadcast by Rob Knowles, videographers Gene Gagne from OutsideGroove.com, and Bobby Castine. And Rob, so far we've got bright sunshine this afternoon after a morning of rain. Hopefully it'll hold out and we'll have a good card of racing tonight.
Well, I think that may limit the drivers a little bit in their practice, Rick, as the track had to really wait and see what the radar was showing. And skies seemed to part here in the greater Plattsburgh area around 1:30. Most teams would get to the Speedway usually around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and of course some of the drivers are making a pretty good distance haul to get to the racetrack. So I think we'll see some drivers getting here late in the practice sessions, and that may impact things later on in the racing action.
Before we talk more about tonight's program, a bit of an update from last week's show. Many of you saw the modified feature in its entirety, and there was a disqualification in that. A great run for the Canadian driver Richard Tesseur. His car was disqualified in tech line for being too low.
Well, Tesseur is one of those drivers who I think before the season is done, Rick, will probably end up with a checkered flag. He's a driver that has some good equipment underneath him. And he started up near the front last week, and he led a good part of that race, and then it was eventually chased down by Mike Bruno, who went on to a fairly easy win once he was able to get to the point. But Tesseur was disqualified. He was too low over in the tech area, and hopefully they've made adjustments to that car. But he's one of several drivers that I think really pose a threat to finding victory lane in the Ernie's Discount Tools Modified Division.
Coming up on tonight's program, we'll have some driver interviews from over in the garage area. And our feature race of the week this week, we'll be showing the Sportsman feature in its entirety. And Rob, there's certainly been some great competition in that division in the first 3 weeks.
Well, for the first time, Bucko Branham did not pull into victory lane. He was the winner in the opening 2 weeks. And he, more than anybody else, Rick, right now has the setup. And a lot of times we hear people talk about how it's difficult in some of the divisions, especially in the Sportsman, to get around on the outside. Branham's found a way to do it. Some other drivers are working on figuring that out as well.
If you were with us in our last program, you saw that week was the first week of handicapping. Week number 2 of handicapping is this week, and some of those fast cars will once again, Rob, be having to come from the back of the pack.
And that always adds to the excitement level. You've got some veteran drivers that will be starting out in the back. They'll have to work on the outside. They'll have to pick their spots down on the inside as they try to advance to the front.
It's all coming up this week. Stay with us for Motorsports Magazine.
Welcome back to Motorsports Magazine. Joining me now, he's a driver in the Ernie's Discount Tools Modified Division. He's from Moores, New York. He drives the number 18 Modified, Chris K.A. Chris, in the Modified Division, a lot of competition. Some of the teams come in with really some of the best equipment that is available to them. And here you are chugging away with little old number 18. Talk about that situation and talk about just the Modified Division in general.
Well, there's a lot of competition out in this class, and I had good friends that helped me out, and it just means a lot racing with these guys. And I know I don't have the biggest budget, but one of these weeks I will be up in first place, and hopefully soon.
Well, the division, of course, you got drivers like Mike Bruno and Patrick Dupree, Leon Gagne, who's been at it a long time, George Foley, defending track champion. Those guys really have their stuff together, and you talk about some of the crews members that they have, and you see a bunch of guys that are around working on their cars. And here's the little number 18 again, and it's basically you. Talk about that situation. Most of the work falls on your shoulders.
Yes, it does. I just enjoy doing it, and it's just always been my passion to do it. And I got a couple guys that help me, but they help me more here at the track than they do at home. But here it helps out a lot too.
Talk about your racing experiences in general. You've been through this and at this now for some time. Bring us back in time to some of the different divisions that you've raced in here at Airborne.
Well, I started out in 1997 in the street stock division. I ran that for, I think, 3 or 4 years. I got some good seat time in that. Then I moved up to the Tigers in 2002. I raced that for about 4 years, and that was a good experience. Then now I hopped into a modified.
And I'm going to ask you the obvious question. Compare the divisions, your favorite division. Is this where you really wanted to be all along now that the modifieds are here at Airborne? Is this where you're really happy?
The most fun I had was in the street stocks. I used to race with Jamie Rabideau, one of my good friends, and Jamie Bagor, and right here is where I'm really having a lot of fun. You got racing with good guys, and they give you a lot of experience, and you need any help, they're right there to help you, and it means a lot.
Well, you bring back the name of Jamie Rabideau. There's a guy, you got to get him back out here.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to go see him this week here. I see him on the computer. They're looking for a neon, so I might have to drag him back out in a car.
He was a good racer back in the day, and you had some pretty good battles back in the 4-cylinder divisions. Talk about your goals for 2008. We're just 3 weeks into the season. What would you like to accomplish this year in the modified?
I'd like to at least get a win and hopefully finish top 5 in points, but if not, I'll take another top 10. I'm not bashful about that.
Well, we wish you the best of luck, and we'll look for you out here at Airborne each and every Saturday night.
Thanks a lot.
That's Chris K.A., driver the number 18 in the Ernie's Discount Tools Modified Racing Division. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Motorsports Magazine. Joining me now, driver in the Versatile Trailer Sales Renegade Division. He's from Plattsburgh. He drives the Budweiser number 8. It's Mike Chris. Mike, in the Renegade Division, we've seen tremendous competition in the Renegades. A couple of wide racing is very consistent as well, very close racing. Talk about how you really have to have your game each and every week and this car hooked up to do well in the Renegades.
Yeah, well, most of these cars they're pretty well equal, and with the new spec motor, the 350 motors, getting them dialed in to perform right with the extra weight that you had to add on. And recently, they let us take off the weight, and the suspension in these cars there's very little really you can do with them because you all have to run shocks. We don't have jack and bolts like the Flying Tigers do in them, and you just got to have the right setup at each night. And if you hit it right, you'll be a very fast car, no matter if you have a 350 or the 305s. And in our class, it's really competitive, very competitive.
Well, you mentioned that, and in some of the divisions, we might see 10 guys pull into victory lane, anyone out of those 10. In your class, it's almost like anybody could win on any given Saturday night.
Yeah, exactly. It's just positioning and how your car's hooked up for the night, and that's basically what you got to work with on the Renegades.
We've seen drivers like Lonnie Rivers have success early on. His car's handling great, down on the inside. How difficult is the setup for your car to get it to work on the outside, to make it pass on the outside? We've seen the Sportsman class drivers have a difficult time with that as well. Yep. Talk about in the Renegade division how difficult it is to get that car hooked up on the outside.
Well, to get hooked up on the outside, you got to have the right springs and the right shocks. You're limited on what you can run for Monte Carlo, so you have to have the certain numbers for the tech to go through tech after the race is finished. And if you get the right tire stagger, right springs, the right shocks, you can really go around there.
But you just have to make it work. You've got to have the perfect combination.
Exactly. If you have the perfect combination, like Lonnie's car is super car. It's Mike Rivers' old car, track champion car. It's proven, and it's still proven. It's really flying. It's a very, very good car.
Talk about your racing experience through the years.
Well, I raced back here when it was dirt. That was a long time ago. And then I went back to asphalt. I ran the 4 cylinders before. I worked my way up through the Warriors and stuff. And now this is my second year in a Renegade. Right. And I love racing. I love being around it. It's a lot of fun.
And for you and your family, it's not just a Saturday night deal. You have a lot of fun like the entire weekend.
Exactly. We have the Trackside Live after the races. The fans can come over to Trackside Live, and we interview the drivers, the winners, the crews, anybody that would like to come on stage, talk about Airborne and how their night went. And we're sponsored by Budweiser, and my brother Bobby's Chris Construction built the stage for us, and Steve Fuller provided all the material for it. And last year, the fall foliage, we had like probably 150, 200 people at Trackside, and we had a lot of fun.
So racing for you, it's not just competitive. It's about the whole fun atmosphere that goes along with it. It starts like a Friday night when you're here camping, Saturday night you're here camping, and then it's an entire weekend event.
Yep, we have to keep track of who wins in the modifieds. We watch the heats and stuff as much as we can, as long as the car's all right. And watch every class so we can have a nice show over there for the people after and interview everybody, and things go smooth, and it's a lot of fun for the fans.
And the show is patterned off of a show that I believe is on the Speed Channel.
Yes, it is. I'm the one. I had a dream one night of doing this here, and last year we built the stage over there, and it went over like big time, and the fans loved it, and a lot of people came out for it. So we got a better one this year, and Mr. Fuller and Mike Perotti got us this nice stage this year, and they loved it. So hopefully it gets bigger and better.
And all you have to do is really hang around after the races and just wait for it to begin.
Exactly. As soon as we're done, all the racing's done, we meet over there at Trackside. It'll all be set up for us, and we interview drivers. We have a really good time.
And it's located right behind the front stretch grandstand.
Yes, it is. Right over there, right behind the checkered flag stand. In the backfield, there's a lot of parking out there for you. We keep it all cleaned up nice. It's a really good show.
And the more the merrier.
That's right.
Well, we wish you the best of luck on and off the track. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much.
That's Mike Chris, everybody. He drives the Bud 8 in the Versatile Trailer Sales Renegade Division. Stay tuned for more Motorsports Magazine on Hometown Cable. Joining me now on Motorsports Magazine, he's from Morris Forks, New York. He drives in the J&S Steel Sportsman Division. This is Jimmy Bushy, the driver of the number 11. Jimmy, you've been at this a while now. Take us back your experiences here at Airborne, the different divisions that you've run in, and Take us back through time. How long has it been?
About 10 years at Airborne, and 2000 I was the runner-up in the street stocks, and 2001 I backed it up with a championship, and we just kept progressing and progressing, and I think it was in 2002 I moved up into Flying Tiger and been here ever since with 3 wins, and it's going real good.
So in the sportsman class, one of the things that seems to be really important is trying to get the right setup. Branham has had this setup in the early going. He's got a car that works on the outside. How tough is that? Taking it from a driver's standpoint, you're the chief guy working on this as well. Talk about trying to find the right setup to make your car work on the outside.
You got to have a good motor, and the tires are the key. Tires are the key in this class, and if you can't find a good matching set of tires, you might as well stay home. I'm telling you. Great setup, spring shocks, you got to have all that, but if you veer out, just coming out of 2, if you get out of the groove probably a foot, you're toast. You're going to get freight trains because it's so very competitive.
So you really have to be hooked up and handling, and if you can keep that car down on the inside and get restarts on the inside, you've got a chance to keep moving towards the front.
Just like last week, about 5 laps ago, I'm running second, restart, I'm on the outside, and I lost 2 positions. I went from second to like 4th, and it's very tough.
Now, racing for you, a Saturday night event, what other things keep you busy in your life?
I play indoor soccer in the winter, and married, got 2 kids, and my dad's been racing. He's track champion 82, and it's in my blood, I guess.
Well, we wish you the best of luck in 2008. Any goals that you've set for the year?
I like to probably win the title, but it's very tough. I don't know. Probably top 3 in the points would be very good.
Well, good luck reaching those goals, and we know that everybody watching at home will be looking for this guy. It's Jimmy Bushy. He drives the number 11 in the sportsman class. Good luck, Jim.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for more on Motorsports Magazine.